In this video, I'm going to focus on the Icelandic Bind Off. This is a bind off that I found coincidentally when just searching for Icelandic knitting styles, and it's a really wonderful alternative to work on the edge of a garter stitch project. While it doesn't exactly mimic a garter stitch, it definitely has the elements with these purl bumps, but it's quite stretchy compared to other bind offs that you might find, such as the traditional knit one passed yarn over. So I'm going to show you how to work this bind off. So all stitches for this bind off are done knitwise, but there's a bit of a change in steps for the slip one, pass one yarn over. And while I think the mechanics are very similar to a traditional knit one, pass previous stitch over, the way we work it stretches the stitch out a little bit and makes it a little looser. So to begin, we're going to knit our first stitch as if we were just beginning a regular knit row. We're now going to transfer that stitch purlwise back to the left hand needle. And now we're going to insert our needle purlwise through, almost as if we were going to slip it, and pick up through the front of that next stitch knitwise and pull it through and wrap it like a knit stitch and off. So there's that first stitch. We're going to repeat that. We're going to slip the stitch purlwise, and if you're lazy like I am, you can just leave your needle in there because we've already slipped it purlwise. We're going to pick up underneath through the front of that stitch, knit it, and drop them both off. I'm going to zoom in a little closer so you can see the mechanics. So we're going to slip that stitch purlwise, insert our right hand needle purlwise, go in through the front of that next stitch as if to knit, pick it up through the previous stitch, and knit it and drop both off. One last time, slip purlwise, insert purlwise, pick up knitwise through the front, wrap as if to knit, and drop both off. So I'm going to work to the end of the row and I'll show you how to finish it off when we get there. Okay, so here we are down to the final 2 stitches. So I'm going to continue to do the slip, pass through, knit, and drop both off. And I'm going to repeat the same for the very last stitch. So slip the stitch, insert your needle through the front, or pardon me, through the back purlwise and into the front of the next stitch and knit it. So now you're left with 1 stitch remaining. And the way that I handle this one, because these are looser stitches, so I'm just going to cut this. In many cases, you would be able to just pull this straight through to close that stitch, but I find because this end stitch is a little bit looser, it's better to actually take, I'm going to drop my needle, take the yarn and actually thread it through and pull close to cinch. And then you can weave in your ends. So I do find that this is a bind off that works really, or does really well after some blocking, but you can see that it's fairly even and it's nice and stretchy. And the nice thing about this is that it uses only about the same amount of yarn as it does to work 1 single row, because you're only knitting each stitch 1 time. So the row that I worked before this used just shy of 2 grams, and this bind off itself used exactly 2 grams. So you can always estimate to use the most amount of your yarn, knowing that this bind off will only ever use about the same as 1 row. So there you go. There's the Icelandic Bind Off. I hope you'll try it on your next garter project, and happy knitting.